Hello, it's Jeffrey with Real Nifty Vintage, and today I wanted to do a little bit of a different type of video. I wanted to go over my 2017, what happened. So, 2017 was different for me. It was a really unique year. I had a few different things happen, really. I started selling full-time on Etsy in 2017. I quit my job doing graphic design in 2017. I started an antique booth. I then started another antique booth. I guess that's about it. So 2017 was a big year for me. And more than anything else, I think it was a big year internally for me on learning just different things about what I want. I think a lot of times people work jobs that they do because they went to school for it. It's all they think they know. It's all they think they can do. It's a comfort thing. So for me, working at the I was designing t-shirts, and I'd been doing that for the last 6 years. So it was ingrained in me that, like, this is what you went to school for. This is what you should be doing. You know, you've invested yourself into this career and learning all of the different things. But I just wasn't into it anymore. And that's just what it was. So 2016, August of 2016, I started an Etsy account, and I had things lying around the house that I no longer wanted. I had a mechanical bank that was from the 60s or 70s. It's like a black one that you'd stick the money in, pull the lever down, and it counts the money for you. So it has like one slot, but then there's mechanical movements inside that figure out what kind of monetary value each coin has, and then it adds it together. And then after you get to $10, it will unlock the bottom part and let you get the money out. So I had that. That was my first sale, by the way. That sold for, I want to say, about $24. So I listed it around my birthday at the end of August, or that sold at the end of August, on the 30th, I think. And I started my Etsy like around the 29th or 28th. So because my birthday's on August 29th. So, and it sold within a couple days, or, a day or so. That was shocking to me that e-commerce could work that well, just with someone who didn't really know what they were doing. I was experimenting with it. I did take seriously my pictures, though. If I can, and I can figure this out, I want to insert a picture right here of the first item that sold, which is the bank. And if you're seeing this, you'll know that I put a lot of effort into the backdrop and everything. So I made sure that it was as good as I could do back then. So I wanted the pictures to have a quality to them. And that, to this day, is what helps me sell things, is I spend a lot of time and effort making sure that my listings look really good. And I take close pictures, I take accurate pictures, and then I have really good detailed descriptions that help buyers. So that was the first thing that I sold in 2016. And throughout the end of 2016, I sold another 54 items. So then coming into January, I'm going to give you my total January items sold. And so from January of 2017 to the end December of 2017, I sold 616 items, individual items, not order total, on Etsy, which is amazing. So if I can also, I want to insert a graph right here of my sales. And these are not numbers. These aren't numbers. They're just order totals, an amount that has sold. This is a bar chart. So you'll see in January, February, and March, I have little tiny bars. They're hovering around 16 to 20 orders for the month, which isn't bad. A lot of Etsy sellers struggle to make even that. So that was nice. Then heading into April, you see an uptick around, what is that? 30, about 30 items sold or orders sold. And April is when I quit my job. So then I really pounded the pavement, so to speak, with buying more. And if anything was, nothing was a mistake, but if anything I did in the year was not the smartest thing, would be that I focused a little bit too much on buying stuff, just overbuying at auctions, not good stuff. And that's the point I'm, I guess, trying to say, is that I would end up with 10, 15 boxes of items at the house, only to have to go through and donate or trash over half of it. So it's one of those quality over quantity things. It's an illusion that I'm getting all this great stuff at these auctions and I'm gonna sell it for all this, but a lot of the times it's just not worth listing it, honestly. So those few months of me getting a lot of stuff and just having it just be around, I decided to have an antique booth. Actually, I did that a little ahead. I figured that out earlier in the year, but that's my game plan that I'm saying, is that the extra stuff that I get at these auctions or things that are more regional, I will put in the antique booth. And so it's an easy way for me to kind of still make money on them, but not do a lot of extra stuff for maybe $2 or $3 items. So moving on through the chart, we'll go back to it. You'll just see that from May through the end of the year, the bars just kind of go up and down, and mostly just up, stay up pretty good. I know this past December was a banner month, and I had 98 orders for the whole month of December, which is crazy. It's the most I've had. I can't even tell. I think the normal high would be around 60, 70. 98's good. But orders do not translate always into higher amounts, or higher money making, because I can sell 10 $2 items or one $100 items, and you get the idea. So that's the graph that I wanted to show you, and that's really the only graph that I can show you. But then I also wanted to give you a couple things on just some fun facts about what I've sold. Let's see. The highest priced item that I sold on Etsy was, how do I want to do this? Okay. The highest gross sale I had for one item was around $300, and that went to Australia. So I didn't see a big chunk of that money because it went to shipping. If my memory's right, I think almost $100 went to shipping. That sounds weird, but yeah, it was something like that. Because I only made on that, it was what it was is a Cinderella mixing bowl set, Pyrex, and they were blue, and they have the Cinderella style has the handles, the double handles, and it's a 4-bowl set. I can insert a picture if I can figure that out. And I made on it $175, and then he ended up paying like $300, $301, $302, something like that. But I paid $70 for that set, which is a lot for me. But I bought that at my antique mall that I rent in, I was just walking around. I seen somebody selling the grouping for whatever, $75. And I get a 10% discount for being a vendor there. So I looked it up real quick to make sure that I was thinking correctly, and it does sell for that. So I was like, I'll buy this. I'll buy it and make $100 on it. And I did. It sold within maybe a month, actually. It was really good. Let's see. So 175, but that was not the biggest number that I made. The biggest number I made was 225, and that was another piece of Pyrex. That was a pink butter print bowl set. So there are two casserole bowls. I'll insert a picture if I can. And so they're two pink Pyrex butter print bowls with the handles and lids. And I paid between $20 and $30 for them at an auction, and they sold for $225. And then coming in third, which is still very good, I bought this fireplace fan. It's the one that is brass, and then they kind of open up like this on both sides. And I bought one for between $20 and $25. And then it sold for $165. A few months later, on one of the yard sale groups that on Facebook, somebody else had one that they were selling, and I bought it for like $20 to $25, and then it sold for $165. So two brass fans, each one $65. That's really good. Okay, so then just for fun, those were the most expensive items I sold. Now, the least expensive item I sold was a piece of, did I write it? Yes, a piece of Corelle. It's just a Corelle saucer plate, what you'd use in a tea set. And this would be the butterfly gold print, the most, I think, common print out there. And I was able to sell it for $1.25. And it sold one little plate, $1.25. They paid $3 shipping. But there it is. All right, now for the most items sold in an order, I sold 8 items to one buyer, and I did that twice to 2 separate buyers. So a buyer just goes through the store, finds things they like, and adds it to their cart. That is not common. Most of the time, people will find just one thing just from searching on Etsy, and they see something that they want, they've been looking for, they remember from their past or want to use for decorations, and they'll buy it, and that's it. But on a rare occasion, you'll find someone who wants to go through your store and just shop exclusively and find things like that. So out of the 2 sales, I know one was actually for a TV show, and I'm not going to get into that right now because I have a video idea planned later that will go over famous people / famous TV shows and movies that I've sold items to. So that'll be interesting. So one other quick thing about shipping, I've sold to the United Kingdom. I've sold to Canada, Australia, France, Japan, Norway, Denmark, Hong Kong, Belgium, and Brazil this year. That's great, like amazing. This selling online has been an extremely great way of learning. I tell you, I'm learning so much about what people like, why they like it, items themselves, the histories of things. That's exciting for me. I love the whole thing. And so it's just an added surprise, I guess. And I can't really say much about it else, but it kind of goes with what I've learned this year. And that's another point I wanted to go over is what I've learned in 2017. I've learned a lot of things, a lot of little things that have helped me get progressively better with selling. But that's not as important to me as what I've learned on the inside, deeper level. And that goes back to finding what you enjoy doing, making it work, and if you can, and just living that life. I'm learning to, well, when I used to work in doing graphic design, the best thing I had to look forward to was, well, how much money can I make? How much money can I compound? How much can I invest? It was all kind of in that realm of thinking. And then that became my comfort, my happy place. I'm also going to elaborate and say that I'm very financially aware. I don't like to overspend. I don't know. I like to save, and I'm pretty frugal in that way. So it actually does really well with buying and reselling because I don't really overbuy. I tend to buy on impulse when I do, but I do it with knowledge, not just kind of a willy-nilly approach to it and think, well, I'll figure it out later. I do really usually have reasons for buying things, which can help and hurt, because a lot of people will take chances on things, maybe pay a little bit more, and it just depends. And I've been learning to take a little bit more chances on things as I'm learning more, because there are just so many buyers and different people out there, which can also be fairly confusing too. You know, you buy something, you think it's worth a certain amount, only to find 20,000 more of them online. You're in an oversaturated market, so you're not going to be able to sell it for, if at all. So there's a lot to learn, and if I was to narrow it down, I just actually couldn't. And that just goes back to the biggest thing I've learned is internally this year. It's just doing what you enjoy doing, not taking it too seriously. That's the key, too seriously. You need to just be focused enough, get your work done. I can't really say much else about it. Like, don't make it work. I don't feel like I work, honestly. And I feel a little bit like I don't deserve that, because there's a lot of people out there that do work hard and they don't, they're not appreciated what they're doing. They are overworked. They don't have the wherewithal to get out of it. And luckily, hold on. I'm going to say that I'm sick. I am sick. So, yeah. So luckily I was able to switch gears and do something different with my life that I haven't been able to do. Okay, so next thing. Biggest regret. So the biggest regret I've made this year has not been on a huge scale, really. I don't take big leaps unless I feel very strongly about them. I mentioned that, so I'm not buying crazy things and being burned later with it. But the biggest regret that I've had was there was a Formica table, a pink Formica table at an auction, and it was beautiful. It had a pink Formica top, and the chairs were white with pink vinyl cushion seats, all in one. And then the backs of the chairs were slatted, and they alternated pink, white, and they had little spaces in between each slat. It looked like the most cutest thing you'd see at an ice cream parlor. I was in my auction head, because this was on an auction, and I'm used to buying things like that for maybe under $50, let's say. But it ended up going for 80 or 90. And at the time, I was like, oh no, that's way too high. That's silly. But almost immediately after it sold, I'm like, why did I do that? I wanted that table for myself, not to resell. And I was just like, I was feeling so stupid about it. I was like, what in the world? So that was an example of me, a biggest mistake, not buying something that I wanted. Now the biggest mistake of actually buying something that I wanted was a curio cabinet. And the curio cabinet, you might see it you might have seen it in a haul video. It's kind of behind me, in between a breezeway. But I was at an auction that I don't ever go to. It was during a lull of auctions. There wasn't really anything else going on. So I was trying out a new auction that I haven't went to. And this is, I guess, when I walked in, I seen all the chairs. It's what you always envision an auction is going to be, where everyone sits down and they go, or they have it in their hat or whatever. And that's what it was. So I was like, well, whatever, we'll go with the flow here and see what happens. There's nothing else going on today, and this might be interesting. So, but before that, I was walking around up front, and they had a curio cabinet that I really liked. And it's in an early American, what would I call that? I tried researching it. It's just a dark wood, like a dark oak color, but it's kind of mahogany looking. And it has like curl foots. The feet of it are like this. And then it has a glass on each side and then a glass front door, but the glass is like curved. So the curved sides, curved front, and it was in pretty nice shape. I've seen those go at auctions, and they usually go for between $50 and $90, most always. So I had this idea in my head of what I would spend, but I was watching, that was towards the end, and there was carnival glass going for $50, $60 for a bowl, which is retail price, honestly. So that was discouraging. A lot of little things that I was gonna just try to get, I couldn't get. So by the end of the auction, when they got to the furniture, I was almost just adamant that I wanted that thing and saying, no one's gonna get this because I've been sitting here losing out on all this little stuff. And so it surpassed, she was like, oh my God, what'd she say? She started somewhere like $600. I was like, are you kidding me? First of all, she's a woman auctioneer, which is interesting. I've never seen a woman auctioneer until I went there. So that was cool. But she's $600. I'm just sitting here waiting for it to go down. I was looking around for some eye rolls. These people were hoity-toity, but they really kind of weren't. I think they were maybe living outside of their means. I don't know. They just like looked normal to me, but the prices were way high. They were way high. Some of the stuff I said, you can get this on eBay for a lot cheaper. So that was silly. It was just silly money that day. So she went to 600, 500, 400. She got to 200. And me a dope, 200? Yeah, I'll do it. So I do it. I go 200. Somebody behind me, 225. I'm like, no. We go back and forth. It gets up to 300. I paid $300 for a stupid curio cabinet. It's not stupid. It's really pretty. But you know how I am. I want to spend little. And so I have this curio cabinet. It's beautiful. It's in the house. But every time I look at it, not every time, but every now and again I look at it and I'm like, I was so dumb. Why did I do that? Not only that, this is one of those auctions that wants a 10% buyer's premium on the list on the item. So I ended up paying $330. Then, I wasn't planning on buying a curio cabinet that day. We were luckily in a minivan that we could use to take it. But I was like, how am I going to get this out of here? So I seen somebody using a dolly, and I'm like, oh, great. So they have a dolly. Perfect. And I was looking for the dolly guy. Couldn't find him. And I asked one of the helper auctioneer people that checks people out. I said, yeah, can we get help with the dolly? He's like, oh, we don't have a dolly. I said, well, that guy over there has one. He's like, oh, he's a big client of ours, and he brings his own dollies. I say, well, you're charging me 10% buyer's premium, and this is an expensive curio cabinet. I want a dolly. So somehow they managed to track down a dolly. Then this other guy pops up. He's younger, like around my age. And he's like, yes, I'll help you. I think me kind of going off on the price and everything got them moving again. I don't know. They weren't willing to work for their money in that way. So they helped me get the item out of the place so I could get it into the car. I don't know. Maybe I'm being too difficult, but I was kind of fed up at that point of by that point of the auction. I felt like I'd been used, and I wanted to just get my stuff and get out of there. That place wasn't. I'm getting off topic, but I'm just wanting to say that place was not. I'm not really going to go back there. The lady, she's great, but she there was this other like little table, and she was getting annoyed that she could only get like $100 for it. It's a table. It was like a base, kind of a cabinet base, but it was like an older country style. It wasn't that spectacular. She's like, I spent 30 minutes cleaning this. I'm like, good for you. It's only going to sell for what it sells for. But she was getting aggravated. She was like, come on, people. Some auctioneers do that, but they do it more in a playful tone. She was like, she was shaking her head and walking away. I'm like, I am not coming back here. I don't support your type of business. So that was another reason. If they were good people, I would have been more okay, I guess, with spending the money, knowing that it goes to that type of business. But she just irritated me, actually. So back to the actual reason of this video. Did I have anything else I wanted to mention as far as things were concerned? I'm trying to remember. I wrote down stuff that I've been reading as far as like key points that I wanted to mention. Okay, goals for 2018. Yes, we're in 18 now. Goals. It's really simple. Have fun with what I'm doing. That's the whole idea with life in general, is to have fun with what you're doing. Buy quality over quantity. That was a big thing I learned. And learn more. That's simple. All those are easy to do, and when you love what you're doing, it's a no-brainer to do them. I'm not trying to force myself to list a certain amount every week. I have ideas. I want to list about 20 to 30 a week, but I'm not going to hold myself to a fire either. And I list by the week. I don't list per day. Today, I don't feel like listing. I'm not going to list. Tomorrow, I may want to list. I have 5 more things in my queue of drafts that I need to put online. That's just how I work. So I'm not going to be that boss that I always didn't like. I want to treat myself a little bit better as an employee than that. So I'm just going to live life first and foremost, and just go forward. That's my goals. I expect to do great things, though. I don't have any else to say about that. I want to just have opportunities come and acknowledge them and realize that they're there and take action when I need to. I can't tell you what's going to happen. I just want to have fun with what I'm doing. I don't really know what else to say. So that's the goals for 2018. Anything else? Anything else to say? I don't think so. What a stupid way to end a video. Okay, so that was my 2017 year in review. was kind of long, isn't it? Oh my gosh, 30 minutes? All right, so I do plan, like I said, to make a couple other videos on some things I mentioned, the famous people stuff. That's an added plus, isn't it? And the something else I wanted to touch. Maybe more in depth of how I quit, or my history in design, businessy stuff. I have another idea for a video too, which is I used to do websites, which is more coding and not designing, but I did that for a bit, and I ran an I Love Lucy website for 4 years. So I might want to go into that and do a little walkthrough. I don't know. But anyways, let me know in the video and in the comment below if you like things that I said, or if you have any ideas on something that I don't know what I said. Or I don't know, video ideas would be good. I have some. I don't know if they're popular ideas. This was kind of a hard video to sit down and do because it took homework, which I don't like. I had to think about stuff. And yes, I need to end this video. But anyways, thanks for watching, and like, subscribe, comment. Bye-bye.